there, and thanks for joining me on Sports Pilot James Glue on another exciting episode of Sport Vibe on TNT, where we'll bring you exciting and latest sport happenings across the world of sport, as is our tradition to do so every Tuesday, and this week won't be an exception, so I would implore you to please stay tuned, because we'll be right back shortly after this break.
JK Royal Signatures.
Welcome back. It's a beautiful Tuesday, and of course we'll be starting from the world of football, but this time we'll be starting from the home soil, talking about Nigerian players who are performing well across the globe, and we'll be starting from the Turkish league, talking about Paul Anacho, who's scoring 30 at the Turkish league, even surpassing his teammate where we talk about Victor Osimhen in the Turkish league. Victor Osimhen, as we know, plays for Galatasaray, but Paul Anacho has been able to back 18 goals for his club side in the world of football. Victor Osimhen also playing a catalyst for Galatasaray to ensure that they maintain their lead at the top of the Turkish league. You can take nothing away from Nigerian players. The determination and the zeal to excel in the world of football is there. And of course, let's talk about Alex Iwobi, the man that has brought the African Cup of Nations form to the Premier League and saw his team Fulham defeating Tottenham Hotspur over the weekend. He was able to score an astonishing goal to help his team secure the maximum points, as Tottenham Hotspur continues to drop points in the Premier League. They are yet to get the maximum points or even get a point since they signed their new manager, Igor Utida. Remember that their first match was against Arsenal Football Club, and Arsenal defeating them, and they lost another match over the weekend to a London team, talking about Fulham in the Premier League, as Tottenham Hotspur are right now sitting points ahead of the relegation team, where we have Nottingham Forest, we have the likes of Burnley and Wolverhampton, who has been guaranteed to relegate at the end of the season. And talking about Wolverhampton, as though they have been guaranteed the last spot in the Premier League, they didn't give up without a fight against Aston Villa, as they were able to get a vital victory against Aston Villa over the weekend, defeating Aston Villa 2-0 and denying Aston Villa the chance of getting the maximum points to hold on to the third position in the Premier League table. West Ham defeating Aston Villa and will be facing Liverpool tomorrow night in the Premier League. Would this be a turnaround for their season? Will they be able to accumulate more points to save them from the disgrace of being relegated with the lowest points in the Premier League history? This is going to be a decisive game for them against Liverpool, also who won over the weekend. West Ham 5-2. It's an interesting one already in the Premier League, as Liverpool looks to chase down the top four in the Premier League. But you can take nothing away from Manchester United, who were able to defeat Crystal Palace over the weekend. They were able to get a close to 1 to maintain their Champions League hope, and this time around they have been able to move ahead in the table, securing the third position, leveled on point with Aston Villa. But the goal difference makes Manchester United sit ahead of Aston Villa and the likes of Liverpool in the Premier League table. Could this be a turnaround for Manchester United under Michael Carrick, and the Premier League looks to be turning around this season in the world of football? Nottingham Forest are sitting at the bottom of the Premier League. They are fighting not to be relegated next season, and also we have several teams fighting tooth and nail to remain in the Premier League. And when you look at the top of the table, we see Arsenal Football Club continuing to maintain their spot at the top of the table. They were able to see off Chelsea to get the maximum points and maintain their spot in the Premier League table. Now quickly, let's go on a very short break, and when we're right back, we continue right from where we stop. Welcome back, and continuing from where we stopped, we are still talking about the Premier League, one of the most interesting league in the world of football. Arsenal Football Club maintain their spot in the top of the Premier League. Manchester City following second, and we have Manchester United third position in the Premier League. Liverpool, of course, are closing the gap between themselves and Manchester United, and they are sitting in the fifth position, while Aston Villa are in the fourth position. Chelsea, after dropping points to Arsenal Football Club over the weekend, are occupying the sixth position in the Premier League, who will eventually finish at the Champions League spot at the end of the Premier League. And talking about the UEFA Champions League, also, you know that Newcastle has proceeded to the next phase of the competition, and they will be playing also in the round of 16. We'll be seeing Liverpool taking on Galatasaray in the UEFA Champions League draw. Remember that Galatasaray were able to get a victory against Liverpool the last time they faced in the UEFA Champions League, causing a goal from Victor Osimhen, and also a rematch that we'll be watching in the Champions League. Something that the football fans are already used to is the match between Manchester City and Real Madrid, who will emerge victorious in the UEFA Champions League match. And also an interesting one, talking about the World Club Cup final rematch between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain in the UEFA Champions League. Is going to be an interesting one. But quickly, let's talk about league football again, as Barcelona continues to maintain their spot at the top